Good evening and welcome to another episode of Biz Buzz. My name is Leon Thomas, and here on Biz Buzz, we talk about businesses that are new, businesses that are different, businesses that are unique, business owners that are doing things to help society. Today, we have a great show. Again, my name is Leon Thomas. Welcome to Biz Buzz. Here we go. Good evening and welcome again to Biz Buzz Show. My name is Leon Thomas. It's great to have you here. If you would like to be a guest on Biz Buzz Show, or you know someone that would like to be a guest on Biz Buzz, please have them send me an email. My email address is leonthetrainer@gmail.com. It's great to have you all here today. We have a great guest with us today. Our guest today is Dr. Moses McCutcheon. Dr. McCutcheon, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for being a guest on our show. And I can't wait to jump in and start talking about some of the great work that you are doing that's going to help so many people. So thank you very much. Now, as a way of introducing you to
Mhm.
our viewers, folks, I'm going to say this about Dr. McCutcheon. He has an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree in business with a focus on entrepreneurship, a master's degree, and a doctor's degree in educational leadership. So this is someone who's well studied, who has studied, and now is sharing what he does with everyone. Dr. McCutcheon, you have all this education. And one of the things that I see with a lot of folks that have education, they
Yes.
don't share what they know, and you do that. So I'm so happy to have you on our show. So tell us this. You
Mhm.
wrote a book. You wrote a book
Yes.
called Planning for Success, right? Planning for
Planning
Success
to planning today for success tomorrow.
tomorrow. Planning today for success tomorrow. And
Mhm.
that's all about high school students and even middle school students trying to get the right path to find out what they want to do and the right path of getting into it. What gave you that idea? What were you doing before you wrote the book, and what gave you the idea to do it? Where did this all come from? I think it's great.
That's an excellent question. What I was doing prior to writing the book, I was on my journey to discover what it is I would be doing after high school. And having done that, I realized that um, I had learned to do a lot of things during my K 12 years. And my count is somewhere between 15 and 20 different things because I was actually exploring at an early age. And that was not a problem for me in terms of choosing a major during the K 12 years, but it was after graduation, first year of college, knowing that I was going to go to college. I realized that I could only choose a major and a minor out of those 15 to 20 things. And I didn't know how to do that. I had attended an excellent high school, excellent teachers, but what I needed at the time was not being taught. And so my educational journey took me through the levels that you mentioned. And it was during the final year of my doctoral dissertation that my purpose in life became clear, is to help others discover their purpose in life as it relates to work. And I wrote the book that teaches the process that I learned because I realized then that there were many other students who were experiencing the same problem. And I didn't find that out until I started doing research. I told myself I can't be the only one with this problem.
Mhm. And so often the the problems and that we encounter ourselves, we think we're the only ones that are going through it, whatever it is, right? We think I'm
Yes,
the only one, I'm the only one. And
right.
then when you start talking to people, you find out you too, you,
Yes.
you, you had the same problem, you had the same problem. And
Mhm.
I think back to when I was a high school junior, high school senior, right? And the only thing that I knew was, yeah, I'm supposed to go to college because everybody said I'm supposed to go to college, but no one gave any direction in how to figure out what I wanted to do in terms of that purpose that you just talked about. And I think
Mhm.
it's so great that you're helping folks, students identify it. And what better time now to start really talking about it in terms of the calendar when a lot of families are having that discussion right now. When is the best time for students and families to start having this discussion about what's happening after high school?
Another interesting question, and I'll respond by sharing this particular story. I received a call one day from a lady in Pasadena, and she said to me, "I understand that you are working with students in middle school, and that's too late." I said, "Wow," I was taken back. What do you mean too late? She said, "Well, I work with kids. I have a nursery, and my kids are in kindergarten um, through age 5. I take them in from age 1 through 5." And she said, some of these kids have gone through some terrible things, like, for example, seeing their parents get hurt and in some cases get killed. And so they've seen things probably you haven't seen. And so I started to think about that. And as I continued my research of real life case studies, I found what she was talking about. And then my research led me to, let me back up a little bit. When I started the program, um, I started with focus on the seniors. And then I kept doing the research. The research said 11th grade. Then it said 10th grade, and then ninth grade, then 8th grade, then 7th grade, then 6th grade. And finally, it got to the point where it says career planning should start with family planning. And so I realized then that parents are not taught this. And so I created a chart. I said, I need to look at this on paper. Why is that important? And what should parents be doing during that time? The child is not ready for that. And any parent will tell you that. Oh, no, 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 no. There's no time to be thinking about that. You can wait until later in life. But then, as I continued to study the research says that, career planning should start as early as possible. Now, that gets back to starting with family planning, but not later than the 7th grade. So, what's happening now between grades or between year 1, when the child is 1 year old, and the child is 18-year old? Well, the first between age 1 and 4 is pretty much homeschool. The parents, and specifically the mother, the first teacher of the child, is working with the child. Then kindergarten, they start as early as age 5. Then by age 6, it's first grade. So if you look at first grade, they're 6 years old. And then by the time they get to the age 7, they're in the second grade, but let's jump to seventh grade. They are 12 years old. So the one part of the research shows that the focus to be really work with kids outside of the home is age 12 through 18.
Mhm.
If age 12 through 18 is the case, you're talking about seventh grade through 12th grade, which is 6 years to plan for a life that's totally different from the one that they are experiencing in the K-12 years. So,
Mhm.
for example, the K-12 years, students are taught the lesson and then they are tested on the lesson. And then after high school, this whole thing changed because life works differently. Real life tests you, then you learn the lesson.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we need to look at the fact that the child only have maybe 5 years to try to figure out how they are going to live in this totally different world after 12th grade.
Mhm. And along with that, when you say, how are we going to live, how you're going to determine in that 5 years or 4 or 5 year span,
Hmm.
you also have parents and others that may not be in tune with what's really going on and providing the right direction. Not that parents don't want to do the right thing, they just don't
Right,
don't know the right
r-
things, right?
right, right.
And you also have school counselors who want to do a good job, but
Yes.
because there's, I don't know why, but and maybe you could shed some light on it, but it seems like they have so much on their plate that this whole idea of career planning
Hmm.
is, it's just missed at that
It,
that critical age. Is that right?
that's absolutely correct. And to shed some other light on that, the ratio of counselor to student, and I'll start with California, and it's in every state, is too high. In California, for example, the ratio of counselor to student is 1 to about 994. And that's been
Wow.
consistent over the years. One year it might go up, one year it might be a little bit lower, but it's always too high. And on the lower end is 1 to 444, 445.
Mm,
That's too many students. And then the counselor is not trained specifically in the work that that I am doing here. And that's one of the reasons why my journey was so long, because I had to go through this entire process of figuring out what is the missing link here. Well, the missing link is that the schools are, and I was one of them. I said, the school's not doing a very good job, and a lot of business owners seem, they think that the schools are doing an excellent job with what they are trained to do, and that is to provide a good general education for our students. What's missing is the career guidance piece that teaches you how to get the best use of that education.
hmm Yeah, yeah, and also then you probably have had conversations with parents
Yes,
and families that they say that my child, my son, my daughter wants to be or
yes,
they want to study, they have an interest in,
yes,
and the folks that they're relying on for professional advice, the educators,
yes.
don't know the right paths that the student should take.
And that's not their specialty.
Hmm
You go to the teacher is trained now, for example, the English teacher is trained to teach English.
hmm
The math teacher is trained to teach math. And this English is to apply to any career field. Now, once you leave high school and once you leave school, the business world asks a different question. They want to know specifically what it is you can do for me.
Hmm.
What is it that you can do to enable this business to continue to make a profit or to make a profit?
Hmm.
So that's two different worlds there, and this is where career guidance come in to teach the difference: a caterpillar and a butterfly.
Right. Yes. Yes. And one other thing I want to get into some of the ways that your program works. But one of
Yes,
the other questions that I wanted to talk to you about is the whole idea of education debt and debt in general. So you have this high school student who for 4 or 5 years through the end of high school, they've decided, or so they think it's the right thing, that they want to study whatever. Like they want to study English, and they get out of school or don't finish college, and they have all this massive debt that's there, and it wasn't a good investment. And one of the things that I think you've mentioned is that education is an investment, but you have to invest it in the right places, right?
right.
And
S-
so go ahead.
Okay, so yes, what has happened is that in an effort to solve this problem for myself, I slowed things down and took things step by step. And once I had completed this entire process, the question was very clear in my mind. Who else has this problem beside me? I can't be the only one. I need to find out. And so I moved this research now to a high school where I examined ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. And I found out that the higher the grades were between ninth and 12th, the more confused the students were.
Hmm.
It had nothing to do with intelligence by the students. They were smart students. But we are now dealing with something that they haven't been taught. So obviously they can't know how to do that. So I conducted an assessment, and more than 50% of them admitted that they didn't know what they want to be and do after high school. I was in that group. Okay. Then I was at a high school one day talking to a vice principal who I shared with her. We were talking about my work. And I said to her, I want to help every student like me who had this problem. I can help them. And she looked me in the eyes and said, what about the others? And so I raised up and I said, what do you mean? What about the others? What others? The others, the ones that you said more than 50%. So what about the others?
Hmm.
I said, well, I can't help them. They already know. I know this group because I'm one of them. I know this group. But when that vice principal left, I couldn't get that out of my head. One, why did that vice principal ask me that question? And two, what is it that I need to know about that group that I don't know?
Hmm.
So I placed them, if you will, in my research pool, which is what I always do to understand things that I have to deal with. And I was shocked at the responses. The students start telling me, because I teach the process. When I teach the process, they tell me. I don't tell them, they tell me. I teach the process. And they would tell me, oh, no, I don't want to be that. I want to be this. Well, why is the change? I didn't know that exists, were some of the answers among many answers. Bottom line is the group that thought they knew didn't realize that they did not know. And that's the group that represents 47%. So 47% of students think they know. They don't realize that they don't know until after they have graduated with the degree, employed in a job that they hate, some are unemployed, and have student loans to pay.
Mhm.
So now, every time a student change major, the cost increases. So now there are 97% of students between the 50 and the 47%. There are more than 97% of the students that do not have clear goals after graduation. This is not good for the for employers or for the person themselves.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll use myself as an example. When I came out of high school,
Mhm.
I had an appointment to the Air Force Academy.
Okay.
And that's because I wanted to be, so I said, I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a pilot for a major airline.
Right.
And there were folks that told me, you don't want to do that. If you go to the Air Force Academy, you have to put in 5 or 6 years of time of service, and there
Mhm.
might be a war, and the training is hard, and they're not going to let a black man fly their planes. And they really discouraged me from wanting to fulfill that dream.
Mhm.
And then the other two kind of backups were hotel management and coaching.
Mhm.
And every time I mentioned coaching, basketball coaching to someone, it was, well, that's a nice little thing to do on the side. I didn't get that encouragement. And I can only think now, right, that if you were doing your program, your system then,
Mhm.
and I was a part of it,
Yes.
I would have been able to hone in on exactly what my purpose was, what I wanted to do, and how best to do it. So let me ask you this.
Mhm.
When someone reads your book and they contact you and they want to go through your process,
Mhm.
how do you do it? Is it a series of questions? Is it workshops? How do they really connect with you to use your information to help them and help them provide answers, as you mentioned, them answering their own questions?
Yes.
Tell me about the process itself?
Okay. We start with an assessment. And that assessment is at ststrainingsystem.com. It's for youth and adults
Give me
because
that
we,
again. Let me have that website again, please.
yeah, ststrainingsystem.com.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right. And there are two links, teen assessment and adult assessment. So they're able to take a free assessment, and I get the response, and I'm able to communicate with them about what they really want to do.
Hmm.
And the assessment doesn't cost them anything,
So
but
the
it
assess.
lets it get
Wow.
it asks them questions. People have been told me. In fact, uh, uh, I have been told that by customers and clients that you know. Those questions, in fact, I was supposed to have gotten a call today, and I received. We couldn't meet the schedule because today was tight for me. So we'll talk tomorrow. Um, the questions required them to think about things that they haven't thought about before, and so here they have an opportunity to start thinking about this and decide what they want to do. They can do nothing, or they can take action steps and get something done. I'm here to provide that service.
Hmm. Great. Now,
Mhm.
when the assessments, now I want to make sure, are these assessments for the student to answer, or are the questions, are these for the parents, or is this a joint assessment that's being
There
taken
are
place?
two separate assessments, one for the student and one for the adult.
Okay. Okay.
And the purpose of the student, the student, it's the type of assessment that they either know or they don't know. So, in order to reach a goal, you have to be clear about that goal. So, you either know what the goal is or you don't know what the goal is. And the process build that bridge between the two.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then the adult assessment has to do with real life and work. And if an adult have not had this training and they probably have not, we have special programs for adults, and it gives them an opportunity to think about some things they haven't thought about, and they can use it to decide. Again, they can do nothing with it, or they can decide to move forward with it, and we'll have a conversation about what they want to do.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It sounds like that when someone goes to your program, that they're gonna have a plan. They're
Yes.
gonna, and you know, when I think about business now and all the things that I've been through, and most of us have been through that, we worry about things a lot, and if we have a plan, it eases the anxiety.
Yes.
Are your students finding that and parents finding that true in this case?
Absolutely. There's an opportunity to do a 5-year plan in the program. And a 5-year plan, how is that relevant to a high school student? Well, if you're in ninth grade, you ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and it covers your first year of college. Now, if you are clear about what your purpose is in ninth grade, and and this can happen. I've had 7th grade students tell me this is what I've always wanted to do, and there are so many different options now. It it's the student is confused as to how to choose the right one. Years ago, even when I graduated, there were not nearly as many options as there are today. So there's a greater need today than ever before for career guidance, education, and training, because it is the instruction book for how one uses one education.
Hmm. Wow. And you are, Dr. McCutcheon, you are so committed to this,
Yes,
that for those that are watching the show, you have a free offer for them. Those that are
yes.
watching this show, this is how committed you are. You go ahead and tell them what the offer is, because I don't, it's your offer, so I want you to tell them.
Okay, my offer is for parents first with students, and specifically parents with students in 11th and 12th grade. If you leave me your name and email address, you will receive a free, you will receive a giveaway copy of my book, Planning Today for Success Tomorrow, teaching students how to choose a college or trade school major and career. The book is written to parents, and it's a digital copy that you will get immediately after you fill in your name and email address. And this digital copy, every chapter, and they are short chapters, start with their parents, school, and organization with middle and high school students, and it gives you instructions as to how to move forward.
Right on. I think that is great. It's so nice of you to do that. That shows your your commitment to helping families move
Yes,
forward in the right direction. And one of the things you mentioned also was the plan. And one of the things was, is it trade school? Is it career school?
yes,
And I've talked to many of my friends,
yes.
as well as I hear conversations at church, and well, we want to talk about some of the things you're doing with your church as well here in a couple minutes.
Hmm.
But also, I hear this: my son, my daughter, they're not going to a junior college or a community college or a trade school because that's not what I want for them. That's not the plan. And it's almost like for some people, when you find out that the best move for their child is a trade school or community college, that it's it there's a nasty stigma to it. Why is that? How do we get over that?
Well, education is the way to get over that. And the education has to be provided. So that's another thing I've done. I have an online academy designed to educate parents and provide all the information and resources that they need for career guidance. It's comprehensive, and it it will share the realities of life, and part of the process is that the parents and the students can evaluate the effectiveness of the program for themselves.
Hmm.
Now, the parent can the parent who has decided that they want the child to be what it is that they wanted to be when they were a child, um, does not really work. And the reason it doesn't work is that God, or whatever you refer to, the higher power in your life, has given everyone special gifts, special talents, and a purpose for being on earth. And once that's discovered, that's what that child need to be. So the best gift that a parent can give any child is to help them to discover who they really are and help them to discover their special gifts, talents, passion, and purpose, and support that. And
Hmm.
they will be a success. I don't
Yes.
know of any parents that do not want their child to be successful. So if
Right.
you true success then is living the life you were born to live.
Hmm. Excellent. Excellent. Now, you also, I know that away from all the work that you're doing here with your book and the assessments and getting high school students and middle school students headed down the right path, you also do a great deal for your church and the community. Tell us about that, please.
Okay, I do community work as executive director of the Bethel Los Angeles Community Development Corporation. And as mentioned earlier, I do ongoing case study research. And when the idea came, when the pastor asked me about uh, taking over as the executive director, the first question was for me was, does this thing take me away from my purpose in life? Does it match or work with my purpose in life, or where does it fit? So I studied that. I studied the Community Development Corporation, and I studied along with the board, and we did a in-house self-study, if you will. And I found out that this is ideal for the work that I do, and it's ideal for the community, because here you have an opportunity, if you will, to look at the needs of the community and provide that through the Community Development Corporation, which is a nonprofit organization. And you can then, through collaboration, bring in others who have the expertise that you don't have in-house. So you're able to provide needs to the community for the people of the community, because the people make the community.
Hmm.
So we operated a shelter for 7 years and discovered through that operation that there were many who had mental issues. We also saw the number increasing. I was in a meeting one day, and the number went from, well, it was said that 130 people were provided homes during this particular month. And during that same period, 150 became homeless. So that was no progress there. So we start to look at a different focus for the Community Development Corporation, and that is focus on mental health issues, provide supportive services, which includes any service that the community needs, but also place emphasis on mental health. And so, just recently, by request from the pastor, Reverend Dr. Kelvin T. Calloway, uh, we've implemented what is called Mental Health Monday. So, anybody that have issues or concerns or going through trauma, grief, or anything, they can call the number, and they can be helped by a psychologist that we have on staff and that's working with us.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I say that for those today, I am giving away my book, Planning Today for Success Tomorrow, helping students choose their college or trade school major and career. For those who would like to donate to the community work that I'm doing with our Community Development Corporation, please feel free to go to BethelLACDC.org and click on donate and donate whatever you so desire.
Great. We're going to definitely push that out for those that are watching the show now, but those that are watching it, if you're watching a recording, please donate. Everyone's helping each other here. Dr. McCutcheon has offered a giveaway of the book and the assessment that's helping students and families develop a plan for after high school and beyond. And it's working in conjunction with the Community Development Corporation of his church. You see that scrolling through the bottom there. So please donate. Go there and show them some love and donate and support something great that's happening. It's helping the community and it's helping individuals within the community, which is the community itself. Dr. McCutcheon, you are doing such great work, and we have to figure out a way to get every high school student, middle school student, even down in elementary school, to get them in touch with you, to get involved in your system, so that, again, you mentioned this is ongoing research, but you are so in tune with everything that's going on, and many parents aren't. And the process of the way this whole thing worked, it hasn't changed that much from way back when I was in high school to what I see my sons went through and my nieces and nephews, and even what folks are going through now. It's the same thing. No one's changing and doing something different except you. You're doing something different, and we've got to get the word out about that everybody needs to get in touch with Dr. Moses McCutcheon. And we're going to do everything we can to get people in touch with you.
Thank you. I want to help every student I can because I had that problem. I know what it feels like. And if it were not serious, I would not have put that time in to do what I'm doing and to continue to do it. I've been doing it for years.
Yes. Dr. McCutcheon, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. We try to bring guests on the show that are going to help individuals, that are going to help families, that are going to help communities, and which end up helping the world. And that's what you do. And that's what our goal is here on BizBuzz Show. So thank you very much for being a guest on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
God Folks, bless you and the work you're doing.
Thank you. Folks, my name is Leon Thomas. We just had our guest, Dr. Moses McCutcheon, on. Please make sure you go to the website for his church's Community Development Corporation. Offer them a donation so the great work that they're doing can continue. If you know someone that has a business that fits our criteria, that's new or unique, or it's doing something to help individuals, doing something to help the community, we want to know about it. Please send me an email. My name is Leon Thomas. Send the email to leonthetrainer@gmail.com. Thanks for watching another episode of BizBuzz Show. My name is Leon Thomas. Here we go.